You ever wonder what really separates the best of the best? The top 1% in any high-stakes field? We're talking about the champions, right? The people who just perform at this insane level day in and day out. Is it just talent? Some secret formula? Well, today, we're going to break down a blueprint that claims to have the answer. So let's just jump right in with a question. In the world of stock trading, where fortunes are made and lost, what do you think is the #1 reason most people crash and burn? You're probably thinking, oh, they picked a bad stock, or their strategy was garbage. But the real answer? It's much, much closer to home. It's not the market, it's their own mind. Yep. The single biggest obstacle standing in the way of most aspiring traders is their own psychology. And that right there is the core idea we're digging into today, and it comes from one of the most successful traders out there. So, our guide for this explainer is the book Think and Trade Like a Champion by a U.S. investing champion, Mark Minervini. And listen, this isn't just another how-to book. This is a deep dive into the mindset, the discipline, and the way of thinking that really separates the legends from the rest of us. First things first, we have to talk about what Minervini says is the most critical part of this whole thing, developing a champion's mindset. His whole point is that before you can even think about mastering the market, you've got to win the war that's happening between your own two ears. And this is really the heart of it. Mental discipline, emotional control, these aren't just nice-to-haves. They are the make-or-break factor. It all comes down to how you react when things get scary or when you get greedy. Because without that solid mental game, even the most brilliant strategy on planet Earth is just going to fall apart. Okay, so once you've got your head right, we can move on to pillar number 2, the winning method. This is where you pair that rock-solid psychology with a super precise strategy for finding trades that have the best chance of succeeding. Minervini's signature strategy is called SEPA, which stands for Specific Entry Point Analysis. Now, the core idea here is to find stocks that are already doing really well. They're in a strong uptrend. Then you just wait. You wait for them to take a little breather. SEPA is the method you use to find that exact low-risk moment to jump in, right as the stock is getting ready to take off again. So you can think of SEPA like a 3-step filter. First, it weeds out everything except for the absolute strongest stocks in the market. Then it zooms in to find that perfect low-risk entry point. But honestly, the last part is the hardest. It's the discipline filter, having the patience to wait for that perfect setup instead of just jumping in because you're antsy. It's all about precision, not impatience. All right, pillar number 3. And look, this might just be the most important rule of the entire game. You have to protect your capital. If you get this part wrong, trust me, nothing else matters. Check out this difference in thinking. It's huge. When a trade starts to lose money, the average trader just sits there and hopes it'll bounce back. A champion? They cut the loss. Done. They move on. For a champion, it's not some big emotional failure. It's just a business decision. It's about one thing and one thing only: survival. So what's the glue that holds all of this together? Well, that's the 4th and final piece of the puzzle, the discipline of a pro. This is how you stop getting lucky once in a while and start creating real, actual consistency. You know, a pro's day looks nothing like an amateur's. It's all built on routine. It starts with structured prep before the market even opens. It means journaling every single trade to find patterns in their own behavior, good and bad. And it ends with constantly reviewing their performance. This focus on a repeatable process is what turns trading from a pure gamble into a legitimate business. And here's a secret from the book that might sound a little weird at first. Real, consistent winning, it isn't exciting. It's actually kind of boring. It comes from the disciplined, repetitive, day in, day out application of your system. No drama, just results. So, the million-dollar question: is this blueprint actually for you? Let's get real for a second and take an honest look so you can decide for yourself. Okay, on the plus side, the book is absolutely packed with real-world examples. It's super motivational, and it lays out really clear steps to follow. But here's what you need to be aware of.
It can get pretty technical if you're a total beginner. It kind of assumes you already know the basics. So really, it's aimed more at those traders who are already in the game but are looking to sharpen their skills and find that extra edge.
So, what's the final verdict here? The big takeaway is this. Think and Trade Like a Champion is about so much more than just stocks. The most powerful lesson is about learning to think like a winner, building a mindset on a foundation of discipline, process, and being brutally honest with yourself.
And that kind of brings us full circle. These principles, discipline, managing risk, having a process, they don't just apply to the stock market. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What's one area in your life, your career, your health, a personal goal, where you could start applying this champion's blueprint for success?